What's up, YouTube? Back at it again with another review. This is not going to be a book haul. It is, in fact, another review, but on what? I'll give you a hint. Hard Case Crime logo. This is going to be Stephen King's Joyland. Now, Stephen King's Joyland novel was made in 2013. A lot of hard case crime books have been written all over the past century. Some as early as like the 1940s and 1950s. I'm reading a book right now. I believe it was made in like the 1950s or so, but it still falls under the hard case crime banner. This one was written by Stephen King, one of the best to ever do it, in 2013. Now, this is not like any other hard case crime novel I've ever read, simply because it was weird. It was just a Stephen King book. So I'll take you through a plot a little bit. I won't give out any spoilers. Promise. Scout's honor, okay? Scout's honor, no spoilers. So, pretty much Joyland, it follows a college kid, and it has a ton of coming of age that Stephen King writes beautifully, honestly. And he's going away to college. He breaks up with his first girlfriend. He decides to get a summer job at a carnival, and he becomes a full-fledged carny. Lo and behold, there's a fun house, aka horror house that was there, where a murder took place. And while he's there, he ends up, and it's supposedly haunted. So there is that Stephen King subject matter of, supernatural, ghost story, thriller type stuff in Joyland. And he becomes obsessed with this cold case. And while he's there, he meets a single mom with a dying kid. And overall, it's just an amazing book. It's nothing that I would have expected hard case crime to do, simply because I've been reading a bunch of Max Allan Collins' Quarry series, where it just follows a hitman going around taking out contracts, and this was just a coming of age supernatural semi thriller. It was, now if I were to rate it on all the Stephen King books that I've read, this would be a little bit lower tier, simply because it took me forever to get through it. It was okay. Maybe my attention span is just so desensitized that I need constant violence and crazy thrills in order to keep me flipping pages. However, I would say it didn't really pique my interest until there was only about 30 pages left, and then picked up out of nowhere, and it was amazing. And it was a beautiful ending. Not the happiest, but that's okay. And yeah, Stephen King's Joyland, I gave it a 3.9, 3.75, 3.9. It kind of reminded me of The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon by Stephen King, where it was was there scary things? Kinda, it's like a mid-Stephen King book, but like a mid-Stephen King book is still miles and miles and levels upon levels ahead of your normal fiction writer that you would just pick up at the library. So I would highly suggest reading this book. If you've never read a Stephen King book, it's great. If you've read a ton of Stephen King books, it's not his best work, but by far it's not his worst. I dug it. But for hard case crime, I thought it was kind of like a weird fit, to be honest with you. But that's okay. I think it's awesome that Stephen King decided to release this under the banner and kind of help out Charles R. Day, kind of build his brand. Because when you got writers such as Lawrence Block, David Goodis, Michael Crichton, and then you add Stephen King to the mix, people are going to want to buy hard case crime. They're going to want to look into hard case crime. they're going to want to, research all his different authors that he has under the banner. So shout out to Stephen King for being a real one and supporting a smaller publishing house. I think that speaks volumes of him as an author and an artist, for understanding that everyone needs a little help, and especially good people that do good things for the genres. So I would read it. I probably won't ever buy it, but that's why I utilize my amazing public library. And I think you should check this out at your public library. And with that, I'm out. Thank you.